everyone. Today I am wearing a late 1890s tennis ensemble. It is the first full outfit that I've made for this era and I'm really liking it a lot so far. I have also made a corset, hip pads, and a petticoat for this era, all of which I'm wearing right now. I thought that since most people, myself included, are under quarantine and not really able to leave the house right now, that it was a good opportunity to jump into a new project and start something new. I decided that what I really want to do with my quarantine time is number one, get started and do some actual video vlogs. I've never done them before, so you'll have to let me know how they're going, or any feedback is definitely welcome. And I also want to actually wear some of the historical clothing in my closet. I have a huge closet that has tons of stuff in it, and many of those garments have only been worn once or maybe twice if I'm lucky. So now seems like the perfect opportunity to actually use some of the clothing in my closet and be able to wear the things that I own, because I haven't really had that chance in the past, which is especially unfortunate because all of my events have been canceled. So unless I make an excuse to wear my historical clothing, I'm pretty much out of luck and not going to be able to wear it for months and months. So I'm gonna make my own event, which is this wardrobe project. I am going to try and wear late 1890s clothing for a whole entire week, including the corset and all the undergarments to go with it. This is kind of a huge undertaking for me because I really only own this one outfit, and I guess technically one other, which happens to be a bathing costume. So I'll need to spend my time sewing in order to have something to wear the next day. So I guess that makes today day one of my late 1890s wardrobe project. So stick with me, I will update you midday and let you know how my sewing projects for the day are going. For a midday update, I have been dressed up for about 6 hours now, which makes it officially the longest that I've ever worn a corset or any type of historical clothing. So it's going pretty well so far. As you can see, I did get a little overheated, so I ended up taking the jacket off. So that kind of made me realize that I'm probably not going to make it through this whole week dressed up if I have to wear this many layers. So my first project that I'm trying to get done so that I'll be able to wear it tomorrow is a blouse, like a nice blouse, so that I will have something to wear with a skirt tomorrow. So this is actually a pattern hack of the top that I'm wearing now. I just took the sleeves from the same pattern and then added them to the blouse from the pattern. So that's Angela Clayton's 1890s walking dress if you're interested. And this project has really made me realize that a lot of my sewing projects aren't really that practical. I tend to get kind of lazy because oftentimes I make things and they'll only ever be seen in photos, and I never really need to live in those clothes. So this has been a really good opportunity to be a little more thorough with my sewing and make sure that my garments are actually wearable instead of just looking good in a photograph for a couple of seconds. So once I finish this blouse, I also need to make some changes and fix up the skirt that I'm planning on wearing it with, because I was pretty lazy when I made it the first time, so it needs a lot of work to be a practical piece of clothing that you can actually wear. And I will see you again tomorrow. Okay, so today is day two of wearing late 1890s clothing for a whole day in a row. Yesterday I was dressed up for around 8 or 9 hours, which makes it officially the longest that I've ever been in a corset before. And I think the corset is the thing that people tend to be the most curious or the most interested in. So I'll talk a little bit about what it was like wearing a corset for almost a whole day. First of all, I should say that I laced for comfort yesterday. I don't think I actually had any real reduction on my waist at all. So my natural waist is about 24.5 inches, and when I measured after putting on the corset, that's still about what my waist was at. It was an interesting experience. Obviously I've worn corsets before, just never for that long, and I made a lot of interesting discoveries. It's quite comfortable. I think a lot of people see corset and they wonder if you can breathe or if you're gonna faint or something like that. But I found it to be pretty comfortable to wear a corset all day. The one thing I'll say is that if you try to move your body in a way that the corset does not want you to move your body, it is very uncomfortable. So The big thing that I found was that my sofa is not at all comfortable in a corset because it kind of like wants you to like sink into the sofa and like lean back, and it's terrible. I found myself a lot more comfortable in like a straight back chair or something like that. So standing up was fine, walking around was fine. The big thing that I tended to have trouble with is you can't stretch. Like if you want to like stretch, you can't do that at all. And I also found that moving in ways that the corset doesn't want you to move is really uncomfortable. So it was an interesting experience. Today is day 2, and I have laced a little bit tighter than I did last time. I have about a 1/2 inch reduction on my waist, which led me to an interesting discovery, which is that a lot of my clothing is designed to be laced a little bit further down because I don't normally intend to wear my clothes, my historical clothing, for more than a couple hours at a time. So normally when I'm fitting like the waistband, I'll fit it over the corset and I'll fit it to that smaller waist measurement. So I had a lot of trouble getting into this skirt because it's designed to go over a 2-inch waist reduction rather than the 1/2 inch that I have right now. So it's a little tough to get into this skirt. I'm actually on day 2 of wearing historical clothing. I have made some discoveries about what it's like to treat your historical clothing as an actual wardrobe instead of treating it like a costume. So the first discovery that I made is that I own exactly 1 set of undergarments, which makes sense because normally I'll wear it as a costume for like 1 day. I'll go home, I'll wash it and put it away, and then it's there when I need it 3 weeks or a few months down the line when I'm ready to wear that piece of clothing again. So now that I'm on day 2, I have 1 chemise, and it's kind of gross, but I have to wear the same one because I only have 1. So my priorities for today are, number 1, making another chemise so that I don't have to wear the same one for a whole week because that's gross. And then after that, my next big priority is making something so that I'll actually have some clothing to wear tomorrow. I'm going to try and get a skirt and a jacket done today. Fortunately, I now have 2 blouses for this period, so that'll be really useful. The other thing I discovered was that I make a lot of standalone ensembles that aren't really meant to be like mixed and matched with other pieces the way that a woman actually would kind of pair different skirts with different tops. So I have a lot of ensembles that like don't really go with anything else. It's like meant to be just that one outfit makes sense together, and you can't really take pieces from that outfit and like apply it to some other ensemble. So my big focus is to start making a few pieces that I can kind of change around and wear with different things. So today I will be making another tennis outfit. I have been finding that sportswear is probably the most reasonable thing to wear around the house. I don't want to be like waltzing around my living room in a ball gown. So I have been making a lot of sportswear, and I've also found that seaside outfits, which is kind of what I'm wearing today, are also a lot more reasonable. It's been a really interesting experience so far. It's very fun to like walk around in beautiful clothing all day. It's been interesting, and I'm excited to see how I feel about wearing the corset tomorrow, whether I'll still be excited about it or if I'm going to start feeling kind of done with it. So I will update you midday and let you know how my chemise and tennis outfit are going, and I will see you then. It is day 3, and it was a little bit stressful because I have almost officially run out of clothing for this era to wear, so I had to get up kind of early and make a quick blouse and belt in order to have something to wear today that wasn't just a repeat of one of the outfits that I've already worn. And in a way it was really good because it was an opportunity to kind of think about things in a way that I wouldn't ordinarily think about them. Pink and burgundy is one of my favorite color combinations, but I don't know that I would have thought to put all 3 of these things together without the opportunity of like needing to have something to wear tomorrow and having that pressure to help motivate me to think of something to wear. This project has also been really good at getting rid of a lot of the stash fabric that I have laying around. I don't think I'm wearing anything today that I didn't already have. I didn't go out and buy anything. Everything all came out of pieces of my stash. And that's been really useful, especially with quarantine. It's a lot harder to get a hold of different fabrics, so it's nice to be able to kind of clean out my stash a little bit and make room for new things. One thing that I do want to comment on is sort of like the lack of historical accuracy of what I'm wearing today. None of the pieces I have on are historically inaccurate. I'm just missing a lot of pieces. So a woman my age would never wear her hair down in this setting. It just wouldn't be done. It was mostly young women or children who wore their hair down. It wasn't really a thing for older women to wear their hair down. It would always be in an updo. I also should not have bare arms. That's definitely not a thing. I should have some kind of like jacket to go over the top, but I didn't have time to make anything this morning, so no jacket today. It was also a little warm in the house, so I didn't necessarily miss it. So it was a little bit of a practical decision not to have a fully historically accurate outfit on today. It was definitely a little bit of a rush to try and finish everything that I'm wearing right now in order to have something to wear today, but I also want to talk about the projects that I have planned so that I'll have something to wear tomorrow. Now that I have a few different blouses to choose from, it makes the decisions a lot easier because I feel that I can focus on making an interesting skirt instead of feeling like I need to do an entire ensemble all at once. So right now I have more stash fabric that I am planning on using, which is like a nice dark green satin. And I'm going to combine that with some sage green that I also had laying around. So I have a blouse to wear with it, and really all I need to finish today is a skirt. So I'm really excited that I don't need to feel as much pressure as I did to get something done for today. And I also have a really clear plan of what I want to get done for tomorrow. So I'm really excited that today is much lower pressure than yesterday. I don't have as much going on. And it's a little bit easier, so I'm excited to be able to focus on a skirt that has some nice detailing instead of just focusing on getting anything done so that I can wear it tomorrow. So I'm really excited about this project. It's one of my favorite color combinations is like dark green and sage. I think they look really nice together. So I'm excited to wear that tomorrow, and I will see you then. It's day 4, and I am wearing the outfit that I was talking about yesterday. I had enough time to finish it, and it's definitely the outfit that I'm the most excited about so far. Dark green and light green together is one of my all-time favorite color combinations. Unfortunately, I think it came out looking a little bit Christmassy. I think the bows, especially on the skirt, remind me of Christmas for some reason. I was aiming for it to feel springy and fresh, but I don't know if I accomplished that or not. Either way, I really love this outfit. I think it came out really pretty. As far as outfits for tomorrow go, I am so excited to say that I am already done with both the skirt and the blouse for tomorrow, and it's only 4 o'clock. I am really excited that I do not need to get up early and finish anything. I can just get up and get dressed, and I'm feeling a little ahead at the moment, or at the very least not behind, which is kind of how I've been feeling for this whole project. I do want to talk about a very weird experience that I had with a non-historical costumer on a general sewing forum. So I posted a photograph of my first 1890s outfit, which was the brown gingham. I posted that on our sewing on Reddit, and the comments were mostly very positive. People thought it was a cool project, but there was one person who accused me of photoshopping my waist. I guess I'm torn between a little bit flattered and a little bit insulted. Just to be absolutely clear, I do not Photoshop my waist in either videos or any kind of photograph. Whatever you see me in, and I think most historical costumers will know this, is literally just a direct result of wearing a corset and some giant hip pads. So I'll show you what my waist looks like today, and just so you know, this is my natural waist measurement. It's these giant hip pads are what make my waist look small. The whole point of most of these fashions was to create the illusion of a tiny waist. So of course, when you put a big puffy shoulder and a big puffy skirt right next to a fairly small waist, it's gonna look a lot smaller than it really is. That was kind of a strange and unexpected experience. Like I said, I think most historical costumers probably would not look at my waist and think Photoshop. I think that's probably it for me today. So I'm going to sign off, and I'm excited to show you what I have sewn up for tomorrow. As you can see, the location has changed. It's weirdly sunny today here in Seattle, so the place that I normally film is getting some very weird light, so I thought we would film here in my closet. And I would also take this chance to show you this amazing trunk that I found on Craigslist for like $50. I'll show you how this little trunk works. It's actually really cool. Unfortunately, it's not in like spectacular shape, but it's so beautiful and it's such a good place to store historical stuff. For only $50, I could not resist. So it comes with these cool little like specialty hangers that fit really nicely in here. It has a second bracket in here that I never noticed before. I don't really know what that's for. And here on the other side, we have a couple of drawers. Surprisingly spacious. You can really fit a lot of stuff in here. In my top drawer, I keep accessories, hat pins, brooches, things like that. I also keep my chemises on this side, although they're all in the wash except the one I'm wearing. Unfortunately, the lock didn't come with a key, so the drawer doesn't really close quite all the way, which is kind of unfortunate. In the next drawer down, I have all of my blouses. I have my bathing costume in here, which I have not worn yet. And I think the bottom drawer is empty. I just don't have enough stuff for it yet. Since I'm really feeling the Mary Poppins vibes today, I wanted to show off this amazing umbrella that I just got. So I actually found the body of the umbrella and the topper separately. This pink umbrella came from an antique store, and it was actually a really amazing find because it's difficult to find antique umbrellas in this very specific shape. Often you'll find that the fabric portion of the umbrella stretches all the way up to the handle, which does not look very historically accurate. It might also, they tend to be missing the tip, this kind of like walking stick length tip that they put at the end, which is not very common in modern umbrellas. The really lucky thing about this umbrella isn't just the shape, but also this is the original fabric that it came with. Normally when I find antique umbrellas that have a really nice frame, it's difficult to find them with fabric that is also intact and nice colors and all of those things. Normally I take apart the umbrella and replace the fabric, but that wasn't necessary for this one. The one thing about this umbrella that wasn't so great is that it was completely missing its handle. I didn't mind so much, and I became really fixated on the idea of wanting like a rabbit head as the topper, so I hunted around for drawer pulls or figurines or statues or like something that I could put a hole in and put on the end of the umbrella, and eventually I settled on this cane topper, and it ended up being absolutely perfect. It just fit right onto the top of the umbrella, and I feel like it came out amazing. Now that I have the umbrella and the handle to go with it, the only thing left is to make a matching outfit. I don't have anything in pink and black yet, but I'm really looking forward to making an outfit to go with this. I just haven't picked out an era yet. So as far as sewing projects that I have lined up for next time, I am currently working on a polka dotted tennis dress, and it's coming out really nicely, but there's just no way that I'll have the whole ensemble done in time to actually wear it. So I will probably be taking the day off tomorrow and picking the project up again the day after that so that I can actually have time to finish this ensemble. I'm really excited about it, so I didn't want to just like throw something together just for the sake of having something to wear when I have this other project that I think will turn out really beautiful and I'll actually really like it. So I think I'm gonna sign off for now so that I have more time to devote to my tennis dress, and then I will see you next time. All right, today is day 6, or at least it would be if I hadn't taken 2 days off in the middle to finish this ensemble and do a little bit of gardening, because you can't really garden in 1890s clothing. This is definitely one of the outfits from this project that I'm the most happy with. I feel like it really reflects my taste, and that's something that people often forget to worry about when they're making historical clothing. People will sometimes get so caught up in making sure that it looks historically accurate that they don't worry about whether or not it's something that they actually want to wear or would wear in their real life. I can totally see myself wearing these 2 pieces separately, maybe the blouse with just a plain skirt or the skirt with a crop top or something like that. So it's definitely something I would consider integrating into my regular Muggle wardrobe. And I think that's really cool to have a couple of historical costume pieces that actually make sense for your real life, because that doesn't happen very often. So up next for me in sewing is probably nothing. I'm feeling very tapped out creatively speaking. I have no idea what I could possibly make to wear tomorrow. I just don't have the energy to try and put something together. So I think today is probably going to end up being the last day of this project for me. Just kind of unfortunate, because I would have been nice to make it one more day, but I am feeling a little bit done with this project, and while it was a cool experience, I think I'm ready to call it a day. So today is day 7, making it the last day of my 1890s wardrobe project. Initially, I was actually not planning on getting dressed up today at all because I was feeling kind of over it, but I decided to put on my last piece of clothing for the era, which is this bathing costume, and film a little bit about how the project went overall. Before I talk about how the project went in general terms, I'll talk a little bit about what I'm wearing today. So this is a bathing costume, which obviously would have been worn at the seaside, which became really popular during this time, usually for health or recreation. People would go to the seaside. Normally these costumes were made of wool. This one happens to be made of costume, which is not a particularly good choice to actually go swimming in. So it's one of my costumes that's not particularly functional. Generally speaking, I think that this wardrobe project was really interesting, and it forced me to get really well acquainted with the era so that I knew what things were supposed to look like. I think I usually spent around an hour a day just looking at fashion plates and photographs from the era. And it was also really cool to think of historical clothing in terms of actual clothing instead of thinking about it like a costume. So I really enjoyed putting together different outfits that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of and making sure that all of my clothing worked well together. And it also forced me to make my clothing a little bit more functional. Oftentimes when I know I'm only going to wear an outfit for a couple minutes for some pictures for Instagram or something like that, I might not even finish the buttons on it, or I might just pin it closed, or not worry about clipping the threads on the inside. But when you're treating your clothing like real clothing, you have to actually do those things because you're living in those garments. So I was a lot more meticulous and a lot more careful with my sewing than I might ordinarily be if I know that that clothing won't really get worn very much. A few people have asked whether this is the kind of project that I might do again for another era. And while I'm definitely considering it, I think the 18th century or earlier in the Victorian era might be a good choice. I think for now I need to just take a little break and just wear my regular muggle clothes because I'm feeling kind of over getting dressed up every day. It takes kind of a long time to do your hair, makeup, put together outfits, and sew all day long. So I'm looking forward to taking a little break from that. So up next for me is a costume from history. I've been really obsessed lately with like fancy dress or Halloween style costumes from different eras of history, and I'm really excited to think about trying to put one together. So I will update you and let you know how my costume from history went, and I will see you then.